We're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet So Hail, where we have a casual and formal conversation about Star Trek. And I don't have my... Was I sounding all right? I didn't have my mic near me. You didn't say anything.
You didn't sound as crisp as you do now. You didn't sound as...
Now I sound better. It's a little crisper.
Now you're radio friendly.
We're radio friendly. We've already got a few folks in the audience. How cool. Joel could not make it today. So sorry about that, Joel. Maybe we'll see.
I'm outraged.
Maybe we'll see you tonight on After Dark.
How dare he?
But unlike Joel, Benjinium took the whole day off just to come to our show.
I'm making fun. I'm not shaming Joel. I hope you can watch us on the replay.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Nice to see
Benjinium took the day off to watch.
I know, for us, like
this is nuts.
It's pretty cool. I'm supposed
to
be
too much.
Do you think
it's
I look better on this side, or do you think I look better on this side? I don't know.
Usually you try to figure out if you're top or bottom, not left or right. Isn't that... Okay, sorry. You're fine on this side. It's wonderful.
I do usually. Wow.
Okay.
Best friend knows best friend well. That's good. Let's see here. We got Cake. Cake is Eternals here. Hi, Sohail and Sean. Very nice. Hopefully some more folks will show up. I didn't send a tweet. So
you didn't twat?
I tweet earlier.
You X'd.
Maybe folks in our audience can retweet the tweet right now if they saw the tweet, if they haven't already tweeted.
Twitter's dangerous right now. There's some spoilers on that. You know what I mean?
What's going on over there at Twitter?
On Twitter land?
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
I just Prodigy a lot. You know.
Yeah, you have to stay off because yeah. So Toddy, before we get started, tell folks. I've seen the whole thing. By the way, I just finished it today.
Oh wow!
I've seen all of it. It took me a week to do it because I wanted to savor it and I didn't want it to end. I think it's extraordinary, but I kind of love that we're repeating sort of
the Lower Decks event.
The Lower Decks thing. So where are you at? Yeah,
this is it. We're talking about episodes 1 and 2, which is basically one big episode. It's a 2-part episode. That's what I've seen at the moment.
Right.
And this is because it's a shared experience in my household. I would binge the whole thing, of course, myself, but at the moment we're watching it. My daughter's watching it. My wife is watching it. My mother's watching it, though with less enthusiasm than me. I will admit my mother isn't enthralled by it. But no, it's an intergenerational thing. It's an event, so we wait until everyone can watch it. So sometimes you guys know how it is. Daughter needs to go to bed early, or this is happening, or we go out at night or whatever. So yeah,
I'm surprised Mom isn't enjoying it, and maybe she.
I am too. She's such a Voyager fan, and she's like, I know. Like, what do you mean you don't know? What?
Don't know? Did she see season 1?
Kidding me? Yeah, she saw season 1. I'm like it's the Doctor. What are you doing?
It's the Doctor. It's her favorite, right? Well, she'll like it. I have a feeling.
Not calling him Joe though. They're calling him the Doctor.
Oh, is his name? Did you just spoil the ending of?
Well, that's on you.
It's true. That's true. That's true. It's like 30 years. It is on you. Right?
I don't complain about being spoiled. Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Or Battlestar Galactica or whatever. Yeah, it's true. It's a good point. So okay, fine. You could. So his name's Joe. You picked Joe.
If it's Joe or John, but I think it is Joe, and I think like the meme is in that it's such an average name, you know what I mean? Such a common name. No disrespect to all the Joes out there, you're all great, but
look, Norman's just like me. Had it on to watch 4 episodes Monday. Ended up watching all 20 that day. Jeez,
Boom.
Well, not like I took a week to watch it. It's exciting. It's a really good show. I will just say before we get into the discussion that I have a feeling
in a different world, you know what I mean? Like in a different, in a different reality where like me is like I'm not in a relationship and what have you. I probably just took a day off work and watched them all. You know what I mean?
I think
I'm not going. Hello, yeah, Star Trek Prodigy's out. I'm not coming.
I mean, I wouldn't want to trade the Toddy that's here today for that Toddy in that different universe.
Kind.
That's like a Toddy.
No, I've spoken to him.
Probably a miserable Toddy.
No, he's not that great, you know.
Is that a great Toddy? Norman in the audience says had it on to watch.
There's one Toddy in one
Did I
universe
just
that
repeat? Did you see that? I just repeated
Yeah, you
myself.
did.
Like
You're in a time loop.
literally.
You're Picard. You're becoming Picard. And I
It's
was
the
gonna make a
temporal
joke.
mechanics.
I was gonna make a joke about like there's another Toddy in another timeline. He's like he rides dragons and everything. He's really cool.
I
But
just
you know
had
what?
like a
You're just stuck in this time
senior.
loop.
I just had like a brain, whatever you call it, a deja vu. That was so weird. I was like, wait a second, I just did this.
This is why AI doesn't work, because people like you try to, make it function. You know what I mean? So it gets a little screwed up. Toddy,
So that's our
are you all
toddy.
told
I had
out?
a segment. I wrote a segment for this.
Why did you all caps Toddy?
Because I don't know, it just fit correctly.
It felt right.
All right, I'm posting a little thing that says we're live.
I am caught up with what we are discussing. How about that?
Yes, that's good. Yes, no. So we're good with that. I like that.
If someone
one thing
wants an
I
idea
would
of like how caught up I am, basically consult the Twitter reactions, because I won't be like, if I see the episode,
you'll do a video.
Like the initial
for it?
reaction is it's a reaction, right? So I'm gonna put it out within the few minutes having seen the episode, like at least an hour at maximum. Sorry. So yeah.
Hopefully,
Hopefully,
well, that works for us.
3 tonight.
You want to do the summary for the 2 episodes, since it's Star Trek Prodigy and it's like Voyager related, or come on, let's see. I'll help you, of course.
I'll try.
Put you on the spot. I just noticed, is that Solom in the background?
No, it's that Vine planet from
Murder Planet.
1. It's really
Larry.
cool. Yeah, I love that planet.
Also
it's a really
Larry.
cool planet, and the artwork on this show is incredible. Come on.
Should we recap season 1 a little bit before we get into our season 2 discussion, and just kind of state what happens in season 1? Or no, it's not.
Are you ready for a recap? Or we can do like a 3-line recap.
Okay, season 1.
Can we do that? Are we capable of doing that?
I think we can try. Yeah, let's try it.
There's a planet on which there's a bunch of kids among a lot of other people that are being enslaved by a guy called what's his name? Jesus.
The Diviner.
The Diviner. And the Diviner is mad and angry, and he's looking for something. It so happens that the bunch of teens that we're pretty much following stumble upon what he's looking for, which is a special vessel that has temporal drive and a special warp drive to it. They hop on to this ship that happens to be a Starfleet vessel. It's an experimental Starfleet vessel that used to belong to a Captain Chakotay, and it has a holographic kind of program that helps people along, which is a holographic version of Admiral Janeway. Or at least maybe it's Captain Janeway, the hologram is. I don't know.
Right. She never had a rank, but I think she's more like Captain Janeway.
But it's hologram Janeway, what it is. What happens is they set off, fleeing this planet of slavery and miserableness, accompanied by someone called Gwyn. She is the progeny, the daughter of the bad guy, the Diviner. And then to cut things really, really short, I guess they send like a signal. They're trying to contact Starfleet to get them. So you kind of follow like Janeway and her crew that are trying to find the ship, because they're looking for Chakotay. They're not looking for these youngsters specifically. But these youngsters set a course for the Federation and Starfleet after learning about it in the database. They think it's a good place. They think it's an accepting place, and a place that, I guess, upholds the ideals that they look forward to in their life and that they want to live by. All the while they're being chased by the Diviner, which we learn came from another time. He came from 52 years in the future, from a planet that is completely destroyed. And thus he is at war with the Federation and the very idea of like Starfleet, because it so happens it was the first contact between Starfleet or the Federation and his world that destroyed it. And so that's pretty much it. Is there something to add?
No, it's very good.
At the end of season 1, they get to Starfleet. They managed to deactivate a weapon that would have destroyed a few ships around, like ships that communicated with it.
It did actually end up destroying quite a chunk of that fleet too that showed up. Yeah.
And at the end we meet real Janeway, and she's really cool. And I will say this again. I insist. She's a different character to Hologram Janeway. They managed to make these different characters, very distinct characters, and I appreciate that.
Indeed. All right, very good. Now episode 1 and 2, Into the Breach part 1 and 2. We're going to talk about that. Quick summary. You did such a good job that I'll help you. I'll kick off the summary for this. Okay. So part 1 was written by the Hageman brothers and directed by Ben Hebon. And then part 2 was written by Aaron J. Watke and directed by Andrew L. Schmidt and Patrick Krebs. Yes.
Congratulations, everyone.
Yeah, congrats to everyone. It's cool because the showrunners, of course, the Hageman brothers kick it off, and then our co-showrunner Aaron Walke does episode 2 as far as the writing is concerned, and Benny Bond is also the director of the animation, if I'm not mistaken. So he does all the whole he supervises the whole effort. Anyways, funny, real quick before we do the episode summaries, Jill popped in. And after Cake was like, "Where's Jill? Ollie Ollie income free?" I've never heard that version of it. I've always heard Ollie Ollie oxen free, which I'm not exactly sure what the oxen free means either. But that's the version I've
never
always heard.
That.
You've never heard Ollie Ollie oxen free, like when you're playing hide and go seek or something? I forget what it is, but anyways, that's interesting. Yeah, Ollie Ollie.
Is that what you say when you play hide and seek?
Yeah, Ollie Ollie oxen free. Okay. I feel like that's
like I'm coming, motherfuckers. Y'all better goddamn hide.
That's not the version I played.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's a legit version as well.
No, it's Ready or Not, Here I Come. Isn't that it?
Ready or Not, Here I Come is another. Yeah, that's like the more standard version, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna have to research the Ollie Ollie oxen free thing. Let's see. Jill says, I only rewatched 1 and 2, so I'd remember what was revealed these 2 episodes. Quite a surprising amount, actually. It's true.
It's pretty. There's a hefty amount of lore already happening.
Jill wants to get your reaction vid. So yeah. Okay, it sounds like Jill's caught up. So here we go. Wait. We got the answer. Oxenfree came up when I searched how to spell it, but we always said income. Oh wow. It's interesting.
Yeah, because kids be like, we don't know what oxen are.
All right, so anyways, we are back with our heroes, the Prodigy crew, and we see them in their various departments at Starfleet Academy. We start off with I think Murph is the first one, right? Yeah, we get Murph first doing a security thing, then we get Rock Talk, who's figured out how to
He's already a genius.
I know. Rock's amazing. Rock Talk's already figured out how to, I guess, sterilize tribbles so they don't reproduce like crazy. And they're all getting these calls, by the way, on their spiffy new pads. We get Dal, who of course, we get Zero, who is studying outside or like kind of sitting outside in between classes, I guess, and he sees a couple and hears their thoughts, and they're not a couple yet, but he sees this potential couple sitting across from him, and he hears the thoughts of the young man who's like, gathering up the courage to touch hands with a young
Zero's
woman.
having some self-reflecting moments about like
touch
and corporealism.
I like that corporealism. Anyways, so yeah, we see him kind of lamenting about that, and then we go to Dal, who's skipping class, sitting on the roof, watching these cool new shuttles flying
as
around.
Any respectable Captain Picard would do.
I haven't read the Captain Picard comics yet. I'm dying to read those about when he's in the academy. But anyways, they all get this message from the Admiral saying that she has an assignment, like a internship, like a field assignment for them that will help them towards their academy commission. They want to get into the academy, so it'll help them get into that. And they go down to rendezvous with a shuttle, thinking it's going to be Janeway, and of course it's the Doctor, and he gives them a little introduction.
Another hologram.
Another hologram. Yes, I like the way Jacob Pog says "Okay hologram," like kind of like "Okay boomer." By the way, I hear
That's true.
birds.
That's true. It's very important, actually. Jill is
Oh,
correct. I left
what's
out that
going
the
on?
diviner is deceased in the presence of like the show, and Essentia is the new big bad. So basically, multiple people from that species went back in time to try and stop it, and so the diviner, it didn't work out for the diviner. But Essentia is very hell bent on this mission. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
I hear birds. Is that my
You
imagination?
want me to close it? There's my
No,
my
no, it's
doors
fine.
open.
It's just totally fine. I like it. I like the birds.
Well, I
That's
put a
cool.
bird bath out and everything, so now they're having a blast out there.
That's so cool. That's so cool that you did that. So where was I,
They're
Toddy?
not
Oh
shy
yes.
at all. I'm like at some point I'm like a Disney princess out there in the garden.
All right, well that's fine. Oh look, we have someone new in the audience. Erica Gray, welcome. Good evening, everyone. Erica from Westland, Michigan here with you. Nice to see you in our Facebook live chat. Erica, thanks for joining us. We're interactive, by the way, with the chat, so sometimes we'll even interrupt ourselves and go to the chat.
We're
As Toddy and
interactive,
I
but
both
we're
used to.
interactive, but sometimes we're a little slow.
Sometimes we're also a little slow. It's true. So welcome. We're so happy you're here. Anyone else who wants to chat, our chat's open right now. We're
There's
live,
usually
and then
full-on conversations going on while we speak anyway.
I know. And while we're and if you're watching this
Okay,
on the
let's get this
replay,
recap done. Come on.
don't forget to smash the like button
Oh, that's right.
and comment. That's right. There we okay, so where was I?
I'm
Oh yeah,
gonna
so
smash
the
the
doctor
like
comes
button
to
before
get
you
them.
speak.
They go aboard with the doctor, and we meet the new Voyager, the Voyager A. Apparently, which is pretty cool. Did you catch that, Toddy, about how everyone's focusing on the Romulan evacuation, the Romulan
Yes,
rescue
that
mission?
is so cool.
Yeah, so we know where we're at right now in terms
I
of.
also caught a little something. They said this is the Voyager A, but then they said something to the effect of like it's basically a total refit. We redid the entire ship. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because that's kind of what happens with like the Enterprise A. You know what I mean? It's like a totally new ship.
Well,
You know what I
they
mean?
said the Voyager's sitting in a museum, which we saw happen on.
Mm.
It's so cool how like all this stuff is so connected,
It
right?
is in the museum, by the way. We've
Right.
seen it in the museum.
We've seen it in that museum, and we also saw when it was going to the museum, right? Like on Lower Decks, remember?
Mm.
Remember in the
I
episode
don't
with
remember. Yes, no. You're right. You're right.
not Moosey, there's
It was on
another
its
episode.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on its way to that. So it's cool that now we get this Voyager.
Voyager's in like
Anyways,
more
it's cool.
shows than the Enterprise now. How'd you feel about that?
I know. I like it. I think it's all right. I think the Enterprise should be taken, like sparsely. Like she should only appear like every now and then. I don't think she should be like all over the place. Although don't get me wrong, if she comes, I'll be happy. But anyway, so we get to the Voyager, a very sophisticated ship with advanced technology from all of Voyager's journeys through the Delta Quadrant. The kids run into another group of cadets, or a group of cadets, which happen to be the new Nova Squadron. So now they have little pins, which I can't wait to get mine from from
You're gonna be Nova Squad.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a Nova Squad. You know, you never know. It's
Okay.
Aaron Walkie said that this is like a new Nova Squad, that they've reinstated the Nova Squad, and that they're like that they're still arrogant, I guess, but because as we saw like a little bit of in these two episodes, but they're a different variety of Nova
They're
Squad.
very Ravenclaw.
They are very Raven, or no? I think they're more. Are they Ravenclaw?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think they're more. Aren't they more Slytherin?
No.
They don't give you the Slytherin. Who gives Slytherin vibes?
Nick Lacano.
Yeah, so isn't he the original Nova
Yeah,
Squad?
but now but they've discontinued.
But now they're
the Slytherin Nova Squad.
That's the Slytherin Nova Squad. Now we have the
No, that's
Ravenclaw Nova Squad. So then our heroes are they're not even cadets really, but are what are
active
they? Oh, warrant.
observers.
They're called warrant officers. I remember now.
Oh, okay.
Our warrant officer heroes are the Gryffindor, is what you're saying, right? Like that's like our heroes, so they have to be Gryffindor. Is that...
No, I refuse that. No.
So were they Hufflepuffs?
Yeah, they're a
Are
bit
you a
of they're
Hufflepuff? I feel like you would be.
I am a Hufflepuff. How does
I
one
always
know
get
such a thing?
Gryffindor. I always get Gryffindors. That's pretty funny. Anyways, now that
okay.
we're
I'm with my boy Newt. I'm sure we get along. I love I love him.
So the kids are really excited. They see Janeway, but Janeway's so busy that she just kind of gives them like a hello, nice to meet you, we gotta go. And of course, Dr. Gnome's like a dick and was like, only officers on the bridge. And like he's
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair
it's
enough.
true.
Like,
by the way,
what do you think? You're Wesley? What is this?
Whatever. Anyways, they're kind of thrown off by that. But then the Doctor takes them to their respective assignments. We get Murph off to a holiday. Oh, well, first we get Jankum going to the engine room, which, by the way, I appreciate a Star Trek show that shows you the engine room. I also appreciate a Star Trek show that has a completed engine room with a warp drive. And I also appreciate that it looks amazing. I'm dying to see what this slipstream drive looks like. It has like a shield.
There's a special
over it or
something
something
about seeing a warp drive and hearing its hum. There is.
Yes,
There's
there
something
is something
special about it, and then
that.
seeing it, and then I like the fact that it's like there's an actual engineering set, a set, so to speak. Of course, there's animation, but yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Right. I mean, we don't do much in it this episode, but we saw it twice in the first 2 episodes, so that's pretty cool. So Jill, you got to go to like 3x to catch. So I didn't put the comments up, but because there's folks on other platforms, and if we just shout at like someone named Jill, they're not gonna know that I'm talking to someone. Hey, Jill's live. All right. All right, we tried our best.
As someone who doesn't understand how time works, I was gonna say talk slowly. That way she can catch up faster.
But it doesn't matter. It would. It's so funny. All right, so Jill's live. That was kind of cool that happened while we were talking. Anyways, so Jankum gets engineering. We get Murph in the holodeck to do like sparring practice and stuff like that. And we get Rock Talk goes to cetacean ops, which the ship has a cetacean ops, and
whales and dolphins. So cool.
We get Zero teaming up with the Doctor in medical in sickbay,
which is nice. I feel like there's the seed of like a mentor relationship happening or something going on. Like I like the idea of a non-corporeal kind of like that's been through a lot of struggles and that's lived through a lot of these things. Kind of mentoring Zero. I like that idea.
Yeah, it is really nice. Then we get Dal, who gets a bunch of books in his quarters. So
I love it. I love it so much. It makes so much sense. It's like you're in command, but like I guess the best experience, of course, is doing things yourself and experiencing them firsthand. But of course, in command, I mean, there's a lot of things you got to read up about. You got to learn all of these laws, all of these customs, these cultures. You got to learn all about like the different species that exist, the things that have happened between them. Yeah, no, it makes sense. And then of course, yeah, you got to read about like the cases that have already happened. You know, if you don't read about the trial of Data, then like you don't know nothing. You know what I mean? You don't know anything.
And
so I love it.
And all the speeches, right? Like he's got to learn Kirk's, Picard's, Janeway's speeches are probably in there for sure.
Death,
Cisco's,
disease, destruction.
Why is it? What's like the?
Doesn't he do it like that?
Enhance it? Oh, what I just. Sorry, that's jumping ahead. We got to get through the summary real quick.
Come on,
all right,
quick,
we're gonna speed it up because we're already at 24 minutes. We're only trying to keep this at an hour and a half most. So here we go. All right. So Dal, Dal talks to Gwen. Gwen's kind of worried about going off to Solom to do first contact the right way. And then when he talks to her about when he starts to talk to her about their future, she suddenly freezes and the connection cuts off. But that's okay. It was a really funny moment. And then what happens then is, oh, I guess the ship goes off. It's on its way to the anomaly, and oh, that's right. So
It's the Shuttle Bay 3. It's the
right.
Shuttle
So
Bay
then
3
wait,
subplot.
the doctor, yeah, the doctor and the doctor's having like a little. That's when he's having like the little heart to heart you reference with Zero, where he's like talking about everyone has the ability to like surpass their programming and stuff like that. And then Janeway summons him to.
You're being clowned for your long summary.
It's not just it wasn't just the summary, mind you. We also did a summary of season 1. So it is extra long, and Tanya did that one. But anyways, they go to he goes down to Hangar Bay 3, acting all suspicious, and that prompts Zero to go to Dal and tell Dal about it, which Zero is a little mischievous himself, mind you, because he knew Dal was gonna do, like, he knew exactly who to go to. So he didn't go tell this to Janko or to Rock Talk. He went straight to Dal. So, or they went straight to Dal.
There is a leader of the group dynamic going on, even if they're no longer captain, like even if Dal's not captain. You know what I mean?
Right, that's true. That's a good
so
point.
It makes sense that
Anyways, they sneak into the hangar bay through the Jeffrey tubes, and they find this cool cloaked ship. They find
that's
out
illegal.
Because
I said, as the episode featured the cloaked ship, but that's illegal. They said maybe 20 seconds after I said it, and I was like, okay, well, it's cool. They're addressing it.
But anyways, this cloak ship, when Janeway and her crew come in, we find out is called the Infinity, and it's for this mission that they're going to go on to save Chakotay. So we then
an unsanctioned mission because it's been deemed too dangerous.
Right. We find out that Jellicoe, who's in charge at this period, has determined that
16 rotations on his shifts now. He's like every year he adds a rotation.
I can't get through these summaries because you have a comment for every little sentence every sentence. Toddy's got a. You should do the summary, Todd. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, the crew expressed to Janeway that they don't care. They would still do whatever she wants. She says, let's hold our horses. Let's wait because we can't do anything right now anyways. And when they leave, basically the crew are like, oh my gosh. And Dal says, and this just got interesting. And it did. All right, part 2. What happens in part 2? So we're back. We started. Look, see, I did a good job. I ended the first summary. Now we're doing.
Okay. Cease. What happens in part 2? Okay. All right. Dal and the gang have found this ship, this cloaked vessel. But of course, Nova Squad, the cocky Ravenclaw Nova Squad, they be looking and searching and following the group, and they find the thing too.
Well, Majel keeps running into them and hearing little bits of their shenanigans.
They get into shenanigans, which kind of forces them into the vessel because Dal wants to move the ship so that Nova Squad doesn't find it. So his brilliant idea is to basically commandeer the vessel out of the shuttle bay into like another shuttle bay for some screwed up reason. They all get into like some sort of fight. They get into a tussle. They're all in the ship. They fly out. And then it so happens that the anomaly that everyone, like that the Voyager A is at, has been, I guess, in some way, or someone's been communicating through it, telling Janeway and telling the ship to come through. Janeway doesn't want to do that because she wants to go through at the exact same moment as Chakotay sends back the protostar, so that they don't get caused in some sort of temporal shenanigan. Because if they do that, because otherwise the paradox will be they go back before the ship is sent back, so there's no reason for them to go. So they want to avoid that paradox.
Gwen would be,
and Gwen wouldn't. Yeah. so they don't
Yep.
want to do that.
And all the kids, they'd be minors still, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. And so of course, like the big thing at the end is that the guys actually, well, they actually go through. It's shocking, it's horrible. On the other end of the spectrum, like completely on the other side of the, I guess, the galaxy,
In
what's
the
happening
present day on
in
Solum, which
in the
yeah,
present day on Solum. Gwyn is trying to convince um her people that she is indeed from the future, and that she is like the daughter of someone from their species, and she's trying to tell them that the Federation and Starfleet are great people and they're kind, and we need to accept them with open arms. But she's been beaten by the big bad villain, or the villainess, who has told them that no, it's not true, it's all a lie. And then in an incredible setup from season one, I couldn't have seen this coming. She's able to kind of like disprove or fake news the word of Gwyn, by saying that she's not actually like a trueborn from their planet, because she don't have the right DNA structure, whatever it is. Because Gwyn was an artificially created progeny, I guess. She was grown.
right. She
Um,
was grown in the first one, yeah.
yeah, and so it's like a way of, I guess, gaining the trust of her people, and that trust is lost by Gwyn. Gwyn flees the castle or the citadel or the I don't know what it is. It's the parliamentary place there, and she finds her father
In the past, her young
in the
father.
past, whom is not named the Diviner at this point. He has another
It's
name,
Iltheron.
Iltheron, and
Such a cool name.
he's visually younger. They've drawn him to be younger, but he seems a lot less kind of like possessed and insane. He's not a mad scientist. He's like an astronomer. He looks up at the stars, and he's fascinated by space. And it's a hard pill for him to swallow that he has this daughter from the future, whatever. No, does she tell him?
Yeah,
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. And he's kind of like, what? And yeah.
he seems a little delighted by it too, which is cool.
Mm.
Anyways, they determine together that in order for Gwen to have a chance at convincing the elders that
That's right.
that they, by going to this like kind of library, they
The
discover that they have to
Khalifi. Oh
do
no, it's not the Khalifi. Sorry.
yeah, they have to do this like um they have to do this basically a challenge in order to prove whoever the victor is proven to be the right person. Very
It's
something
an
from their
ancient
past, like a very
tradition that
like
hasn't been done in a long time, but
right,
it is so, I guess, culturally important and impactful that it will
that it holds
undoubtedly,
weight.
yeah, prove her truth, I guess, her worth. And yeah, it's
Yeah,
the heirloom. Gwen has an heirloom that she uses as like not only decoration but also a weapon throughout the first and this episode. She's got that from her father, and so that heirloom
it's the same heirloom. Yeah,
is the same
exactly. So
one. So yeah,
he's convinced, obviously. Very good job.
you gotta check the quantum dating. You know what I mean?
It's truly quantum signatures. Very good, very good. You did a way better job at making a short summary. This is why I
Well, to
hate
be fair, we're
I,
30 minutes in, so we
yeah,
needed to.
I can't do summaries short. I just can't. It's like hard for
Well, it's
me. I don't
because
know.
you
I
don't.
feel like
I interrupt too much. You don't interrupt me. To be fair, so
that's true. I try not to. Toddy, I loved these
I
first two
loved it.
episodes. I thought
I
coming
loved it.
back to, for season two, coming back, it was like the perfect opening. We get the mystery, we get a lot of excitement, new technology, everyone's kind of leveled up. Yeah, it's just overall they just did a really good solid job at I think it would have played as a one event, like if it had premiered on Paramount Plus the way that they do it. I bet you they would have released the first two as
Mm.
one episode, just to kind of like kick it off, and then you'd have the rest of them playing 1 week at a time. What are your thoughts on these two episodes? What do you think?
I loved it. I think it was great. I do think it was a good way of kind of like settling everything back in motion. So there's multiple levels to this. I'm gonna try and keep what I have in mind for just after this. But basically, I really enjoyed seeing what had happened in the time since. So how all the characters have kind of like grown, and how their stories have progressed. Gwyn on her side of the galaxy and everyone else on theirs. I feel like there's a lot of logic to like them joining Janeway and that specific mission, that specific crew. Not only because maybe she wants to kind of take them under her wing, but also because they're very much involved with the vessel itself and all of that story. I really like them and their dynamic. I like the idea of having Nova Squad. um I like the idea of having like this very serious bridge crew. I always talk about contrast when I talk about lower decks, how like in lower decks we follow, I mean, in a certain way, kind of like uh caricatures, we follow like goofy characters, but there's always these real kind of like Starfleet characters, like we've seen them in 90s Trek come in. And so I like to see that here, like with these bridge officers, they're very serious. And
Yeah, they
so the
are.
contrast to like Dahl and and Rock and everything, how kind of goofy they can be, but I like that. And I think that the setup is great. Like I'm really hyped about like understanding, learning, and seeing what's going on with Chakotay. I think that the kind of twist to now bring back the Diviner character, but now he's in a different, like he hasn't. It's not like we've changed him. He's become better. He's reformed. No, this is before he went insane and he went bad. And I like the idea of giving this character a second chance. You know what I mean? I think it's a clever
In
way
a
of,
really unique way, in a weird
yeah,
kind of timey-wimey, as Dal
yeah.
said.
So I really like that, and I'm really excited to see where the story goes and how it progresses.
Very
So yeah,
cool. Yeah, me too.
Dahl is very Mariner. I mean, Dahl is Mariner basically.
Like a similar kind of vibe. You're talking about like a
Yeah, I feel like a similar kind of vibe a lot.
hmm.
Dahl is. I think the actions are very similar. I think maybe the reasons behind the actions are quite different because Mariner wasn't so much, I would say, immaturity as it was mainly like things that she had to work through. Whereas Dahl is still a little immature. He's still a little young. He's lacking experience.
He
And
also
yeah,
wants to just get straight to
yeah,
flying around and
he
being a
wants to get to
captain.
captaining.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like ready to do that.
the thing I wanted to say is season one was very interesting from a conceptual standpoint because it was not a Starfleet show. It was a Star Trek show, but it wasn't a Starfleet show.
Hmm.
Um, and so it was a way of introducing young audiences or new audiences, whatever their age. It was a way of introducing them to the concept of Starfleet and the concept of the Federation and its ideals, and I guess all of the technology too, like because you have hologram Janeway kind of explaining everything as they go, and that was a really nice way to set that up, and explain everything. But here we embark on a different journey, which is a Starfleet journey. Now we're in Starfleet, we're in the Federation, and we're learning things as kind of like new officers and seeing things from that perspective. So I think it's really good and cool for like new audiences to like get those two kind of perspectives and to get them so like seamlessly, flowing together. So yeah, this
I
is
also like that we
probably
don't
one
even.
of the best shows to start Star Trek with,
Not only
honestly.
that, it's honestly like a really. I mean, we'll talk about it as we get to the end of the season, but I don't think it's hyperbolic that people are saying it's one of the best Star Trek shows, like of the mod. It might be the best series of this modern era of Star Trek. And sure, it is building on the shoulders of the other series, but it's doing such a great job
So
of like,
I remember
you
saying that after season one only, I couldn't yet say that it was the best, but I felt like it was going there. Like if this quality of show were to persist and continue on throughout like the other seasons, there would be no question that this is the best show in this modern era. It is by far my favorite, I think, which is surprising. I really thought Lower Decks would remain my favorite because I've been so needing of that concept of a show for so mknow years. But this just, I don't know, it blew me away. It stole my heart, honestly.
it stole your heart. Oh my god, I love that.
I'm gonna say something that might be a little controversial. Because it's a shame because I really love animation and I want the show to be animated. I do feel like we're still in a time where maybe the show would be taken a little more seriously and acknowledged a little more if it was live action, which kind of sucks. Um,
I think
and I
that's gonna
think
be a. I think
less people,
that's kind of
more,
animation in general. It's
there's a
kind of
bias
like the
to it.
thing, a bias to it. But I have to say that this is the first time Star Trek, to me, in my eyes, has competed with what Star Wars has done with animation.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, I feel like this is a direct like answer to when is Star Trek going to do that kind of stuff. Like we're getting to get
Mm,
stories that we would never get in live action. We're going deeper into the lore. And these are it's neat because it's also fulfilling as animation does since it's attractive to younger audiences. It's fulfilling that desire that that kind of like not desire, what's the word I'm like the it's fulfilling that component of, well, how do you introduce a new generation to Star Trek but at the same
yeah,
time keeping it going in a way that interests longtime fans.
yeah,
And that's exactly what the show is doing. Like there's enough like like just like little tidbits like just like the Voyager A, and like finding out some of her technology was from here, finding out during that scene, even though it's in dialogue, but finding out that the Romulan rescue is in full swing, that's
so
happening in
cool.
the background, like all these things, just like this show is doing. And Star Wars animated series, the Clone Wars, did that for Star Wars. Like it
Mm,
expanded a
mm.
lot
Yeah, I've
of
heard
the
that. I've never seen
universe.
it, but
Yeah.
I've heard that a lot. Yeah. Would I want the
So
show to be live action? No. Personally, no. I'm very happy with it being the way it is. I'm actually thrilled with it being the way it is, and I'm thrilled with ironically, like, we've talked at length about like the visual canon of like, Discovery, what have you, but I like that shows have their own visual identity. I really appreciate that. I think it adds to the uniqueness of the show, and I think it's just a part of Star Trek's history to do firsts and be unique and try out different things. So for this show not only to be animated, but animated in a way that we haven't yet seen in Star Trek, I think just works perfectly. It's great. um uh
I might have given you a
it,
spoiler. I'm not sure, but I don't think you caught it, so it's okay.
no, I didn't. I won't go back and listen. um but then also I feel like I feel like um in a little bit of a sad way, like it's a kind of bittersweet way, if this thing were live action, I think more people would take it seriously and more people would be open to saying it is my favorite or it is the best Star Trek show of the modern era. Because I think that
Mm.
sadly, because of the prejudice toward animation that a lot of adults have, it has kind of lost part of the audience. One could say that maybe statistically, what it has lost in the adults, it has gained in the children that are not watching the other shows, perhaps.
Well, the
I don't know,
perspectives,
but
that's an
yeah.
interesting, it's an interesting take. The perspective I have is, of course, Trek Twitter, which is like the Trek community, and I think overwhelmingly, a lot of people are embracing it. I don't remember anyone that I associate with who didn't watch Star Trek Prodigy or Lower Decks because it was animated. I feel like
Hmm.
on Twitter, everyone I talk to is like so hardcore about Star Trek that they'll just watch
Whatever it is.
whatever it
Yeah.
is if it has a Star Trek on it. So I don't have,
They would listen
unfortunately.
to audio novels, so like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter as long as it's Star Trek and it's, pursuing it pursuing it further. But I do agree that it is possible that, there are folks like that might just not be, as you said, turned on. Like they just might not be as interested in watching it because it's animated. They would be missing out though. I hope they do
yeah,
change
let
their
it be
minds.
known that my opinion truly is that, like, if you're in any way interested in Star Trek, you should absolutely be watching this show.
Hmm.
Do not let the format, kind of like sh- throw you off or anything, right? Like, it is animated. Yes, it is short form in a sense because it's only 23 minutes. It's not like the 40 or 50-minute dramas, but like it doesn't change anything. The story is full of heart, full of soul. It's deep. It's utilizing the lore and like the I guess the canon of Star Trek to like just the best that it could. The voice acting is absolutely stunning. The animation is amazing to look at. Like honestly, it looks great.
It does. Interestingly, so Cake says the animation is just so beautiful and detailed. And then hi Joanne, our friend Joanne Robertson's here, and she says it's an animation style that I don't like, but I can't deny that it's aesthetically pleasing. I get that. I heard that from a couple of folks too. I love it because it reminds me of stop motion animation, like what's his name? He did James and the Giant Peach and The
Wallace
Nightmare
and
Before Christmas.
Gromit and
No, more like
Show
Henry
Machine.
Selick,
No, that's
who
claymation.
Henry Selick, who does
Isle
who
of
did
Dogs. Wes
no,
Anderson.
I think it's more like Nightmare Before Christmas and
Oh,
that,
okay.
that kind of style,
The
like that.
the Princess Bride. Oh, what? No, the what's it called?
James and the Giant
Yeah,
Peach,
the Corpse Bride or whatever it
The
is.
Corpse Bride,
Hmm.
Lorelai. Is it Lorelai? Lorelai? No. What am I
Coralie,
thinking here?
Coralie.
Coraline.
Yeah.
Coraline. Yes, it's Coraline. So to me, it reminds me of that kind of animation. It's like, and that animation has what's interesting is sometimes I'm watching the show and I think it's stop motion animation the way, like, I'll forget that it's CGI. And it's the same with those other, with the ones I mentioned. Like sometimes I think, oh, those are like CGI. Like it's interesting. So it's a very clean kind of,
I'll forget it's animated.
what's that?
I'll forget it's animated
Yeah. I forget it's animated
because
sometimes too.
so specifically you're showing me the Doctor here. I feel like there are certain characters where I feel like there's a certain jank that hits me when they speak, and I feel like sometimes the lips don't exactly sync up with the lips don't exactly sync up with what's being said, and I feel like it's a little janky like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, I don't think it's necessarily a flaw of animation. I think it's maybe the style. Maybe it is that stop motion effect that maybe doesn't sync up exactly. It doesn't do it with all the characters, but I think it does it with mainly with characters that I know and that my mind knows in live action. Like I know the Doctor in live action. I don't know like the Andorian and the Tellarite that she has, so it doesn't affect me as much. But specifically here with like this Doctor in the opening sequence, I felt a little jank, but it really is like it's such a small detail. It doesn't bother me. I've seen much worse in animation. And then of course on the other side of the spectrum, like all of the like these beautifully painted, shots of like the planets, and then when you see like the ships from outside, like sometimes I actually forget that I'm watching an animated show, which is the complete reversal to when you have kind of questionable visual effects in a live action show. Like questionable visual effects in a live action show can kind of ruin it as
Throw
a
you
big
out of it. Yeah,
ruin it
exactly.
as a big word. I wouldn't say it will ruin it, but it sometimes can kind of like take you out of the the what
The
is it?
moment
The
or the
escapism that
suspension
you
of the suspension of disbelief goes
yeah.
away.
But here it's totally the opposite. Like I'm watching these things and I just forget that it's animated. And then, the characters come back and oh, that's right. That's right. This thing is animated. But yeah, um, I love it.
Very cool. Hey, we have Trek Yards in the audience. I'm supposed to do a live tomorrow with Trek Yards, I think with Samuel and Stuart.
The
So
crossover of
uh,
the century.
yeah, crossover. And I guess we're doing lives about Star Trek Prodigy at the same time.
What?
We're only doing episode 1 and 2. They're doing episode 1 through 5. So
Okay.
maybe stick around for our 1 and 2 and then go watch 3 to 5 over there. But I appreciate Trek Yards coming in here to say hello. I appreciate that a lot. So check them out. Don't stop watching us though. No, and then we have Brax. Oh, by the way, Father is here too tonight. After there's a lot of Star Trek Prodigy talk tonight. So tonight they're doing episode 1 through 5 also
What?
at
Oh,
at
oh,
8
we're so
p.m.
different. We're the
I
only
know
ones doing
we're
one and
just doing
two.
the first two, but they'll be talking about it from 8 p.m. Live on the Text Trek channel. It's going to be Fathery, Aaron Harvey, and Dave. So check that out after us. So yeah, lots of Trek streams. I love our Trek stream community. It's very cool. And then hey Braxton, nice to see you. Good afternoon and happy Friday. We hope you're having a good day, and I hope you had a nice holiday as well. So yeah, more folks pouring in. That's really nice. Say hi in the chat if you are. If you're here, don't forget to smash the like button on
Pound the like
YouTube.
button.
Pound it, hit it,
Destroy it.
Really good points, Toddy, that you were making about that. So
Look
the
at that.
doctor takes them. I
Look at
know
that.
she's
Look, okay.
beautiful.
No, but I mean, look. Both of these shots could be live action shots.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
The ships are beautiful. Yeah, all the exteriors. Yeah.
It's a smidgen animated, and then I think the context makes our brain know that it's animated. But come on, like, look at that bottom one. Look at them both. They could be live action. It's ridiculous. It looks so good.
What do you think of Voyager A?
I like it. I like it. Our boys Trek Yards will probably say something to the effect of the nacelles are the ones from the Enterprise, like the Enterprise. What is it?
Yeah, they're the Sovereign style nacelles.
Yeah.
That's correct.
I like it. I really like the visual connectivity that's going on. It's shiny. It's a little more aggressive than Voyager is, because I think Voyager was really designed and supposed to be like a science vessel at heart. I think
this
this
one
seems a little more aggressive. I think it seems a little more purposeful in a sense.
They refer to her as a Lamar Special Class Science Vessel.
Okay, so what is a science vessel?
She
But
is a science
I
vessel.
guess, yeah, I guess maybe this is more of a post-Borg kind of era in Star Trek, so everyone's kind of like, we got to make these ships a little more aggressive.
I like that they don't waste time during the shuttle ride over is when the doctor gives the mission briefing about the wormhole and everything like that. And I took note of this because I know Janeway gets headaches from thinking about temporal stuff, and Dal says timey-wimey stuff hurts my head, which I always thought was a really nice,
really like the joke of like you didn't read Temporal Mechanics 101.
Mechanics 101. It's like, no,
what are you doing? I didn't read it. I'm gonna get to it. And it's like, yeah, but like, I'm gonna be honest though. What is my man doing? Like, you're going on a temporal mission, bruh. You know what I mean? Like,
I can relate to Dal. Sometimes when I was in school, I got really good grades though. I wasn't like a slacker or anything like that, but there were times in school where I was just like gung ho to get into the actual like work and not, and I didn't do the reading necessarily, and I just figured it out. Dal seems to be like that kind of learner. He's not like a direct learner. Like, he's not a traditional learner. I think that's kind of cool too, that they show that the main character does have like learning differences. Perhaps there's a sign of that there, that he seems to have like, just kind of either ADHD or, just some kind of learning difference that makes him kind of do things, odd.
That is a topic and a subject that I think the Starfleet Academy should address.
Yes.
Because I had I had friends and myself, like, we were very different in like the learning styles and the way that we adapted, I guess, to like our lessons and our teachers and like all of the different curriculums. And now I'm experiencing it all over again with my daughter. She's very different to the different like kids in her class, and I feel like the schooling structure, and I've seen it in Canada now and in France and in New Zealand, although all three are completely different, they are very kind of boxed into their own separate ways. And I feel like it's not, you should really pick and choose like the best from all of these worlds, or the most adapted to each individual. And I hope that Starfleet Academy can address that.
Yeah, I agree. That would be really awesome. Benji in the audience, first to respond to you, agreed, Toddy, especially as Tilly was meant to be autism coded. I would like them to address it head on. Yeah, that would be cool. Benji also says, love the Lurian cadet. Yes, we have our first Lurian cadet that's not Morn, which is very cool.
Special shout out to the fact that not only does this show feature Andorians and Tellarites, which are truly lacking in Star Trek. But also this is, I think, one of the first times we've actually had like main bridge crew being like human, Tellarite, and Dorian. So it's basically like we're missing Vulcan here, I think.
Oh yeah,
But
no,
we
but
have,
yeah,
we have like Starfleet and the Federation founders up on this bridge,
on the
and then
bridge.
of
I didn't
course
notice that till now. It's cool.
it continues on here with our friends the Nova Squad. You know, we got like Lurian. What's the other one? The third
I
one?
can. I was gonna ask you if you guys, maybe the audience
Mm.
knows. Can you tell what species, Star Trek species, the one on the left, the Nova Squadron cadet on the left is?
But
Because
I
I
really
can't
like
tell.
that we've got all these different species going on. I think it's so great.
Yeah, it is really nice, and that's the other good thing about animation, right? Like, you
You
can
can go wild with
really
it. You can have a
you can go
Murph.
wild with it. Yeah, exactly. You can have a Murph. It's there, basically. Yeah, exactly. So let's talk a little about the Nova Squadron. So you seemed a little trepidatious in the beginning because yeah, we all have that
Mm.
impression of the Nova Squadron, right? Like we don't really, especially the Nova Fleet. After we saw what
Yeah, 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 yeah.
what Locarno was up to, we just finished Lower Decks. So yeah, it's a little. It might be
So
a little hard.
I'll have to ask someone on Twitter, but like, do we know? Did the people writing like Aaron Waltke and everyone, did they know about what was going on with Lower Decks and like the
My
Nova
impression
Fleet
is that
when they
they
were writing
know a
this?
lot. My impression is that they do know a lot, and I think uh, this might be something that Fathery talks about tonight more on Text Track because he usually gets into the deeper stuff like this. But I think that Prodigy season 2 was probably filming as they were wrapping up the last season of Lower Decks, so they may have known about it, but I don't know. I'd have to look at the production dates and see how they correlate and all that good stuff. Someone do the sleuthing for us. oh, we have an answer. So, Trek Culture, shout out to Trek Culture, by the way, very cool, big channel. Asked Aaron Walkie and the cadet. And the cadet is a human with vitiligo. Oh, very cool.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. I have family members who have vitiligo. Let me just see something though. That's neat. I never have seen a character on TV, I don't think, that has had vitiligo before. That's cool. That's very cool. I'll have to tell my cousin maybe
You've maybe seen it in live action because some actors
have
would
it.
have it, but it being specifically animated, perhaps not. Yeah.
I'm loving that they gave us another Vulcan to go on the adventure. I like her a lot. Yeah, what do you think of Majel?
She's good. I like her. I've only seen her, of course, in these first few episodes so far, but she's very Vulcan. I think that she's the kind of Vulcan that would be Starfleet because I think she's got too much. You know, she's too much for like the Vulcan people. I think they couldn't handle her because she's sleuthing around. She's listening into like other people's conversations, trying to figure out what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
totally.
I like her. I like her a lot. Does she got like is she full Vulcan or is she Vulcan and Romulan?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't get
Because she doesn't feel full Vulcan to me. I'll leave it at that. Where I'm standing, she doesn't feel full Vulcan. Of course, I don't mean to assume anything,
By the way,
right?
since there's more folks in the audience, Toddy has only seen these first 2 episodes. I've seen the whole season. I just finished it today, so let's try not to spoil it in the chat and just keep it to these first 2 episodes. He almost caught me a couple times here where I almost can't wait. You got to be careful with your questions
Oh, okay, my bad.
because I might give away something from later on in the season. But if I do, we'll try to erase your mind so you forget by the
Fair
next
enough.
episode. But yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that question right now, Toddy.
I'll keep a big rock on my desk and like knock myself out if I learn something. That way it'll erase.
I don't know about the question about Magel's lineage or whatnot, but but I think she is a Vulcan through and through from what I understand. So I'll just tell you that. You weren't spoiling anything, Cake. That wasn't directed to you. Which, by the way, I do want to pull up Cake is Eternal's comment, which is true. Later on, there's a big hint that Prodigy and Lower Decks coordinated. So we'll see what happens
Okay,
later
that's cool.
on. Here's that scene with Janeway. By the way, I wanted to point out these new pads are pretty cool. I like that there's either an isolinear chip that's permanently or that they put in at the top there, or that it could be like a little antenna maybe that sticks out at the top to give it more range. I'm not sure, but it's pretty cool.
It's
So
a miniature gel pack, like Voyager has.
right. Oh, it could be. Oh, that's true. It could be a gel pack technology. That's true.
It's a gel enhancer.
Oh, this is pretty cool. One of the creators. Here's an answer to your question. One of the creators said that Ma Gel is a descendant of T'Pau from TOS. That makes sense.
Is Ma Gel a reference to
Majel Barrett.
Majel
That's
Barrett?
right. Yeah,
Okay.
that is totally a reference, totally an homage. Very cool. I like her haircut. That's a new Vulcan haircut. We have never seen a haircut with like
She's put
gangly.
white in her hair.
Yeah, there's like
Okay.
white in her hair and stuff like
Come
that.
on.
Yeah, it's
Ain't
pretty
nobody on
cool.
Vulcan gonna accept that. She did that. She's a Starfleet. She's like, you know what? I can put some white in my hair now.
Oh, cool. Shout out to the Sci-Fi Sisters. They interviewed the brothers Hageman too. Jill says this Netflix episode dump is difficult to navigate. Yeah, this is our first for us. We've never done it like this, right? Like, are there
My
other
opinion has been and will always be that I prefer things to come out weekly. I don't like the episode dump concept. I don't think it's good for like the show and its, I guess, life. You know what I mean? It comes and goes so quickly that people don't have the time to discuss it. It doesn't circulate on the internet as long. I don't think it's as good for like, I guess, the creators behind it. Maybe
You know what?
it works for Netflix. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but let's see. I mean, it's our job. We're gonna try our best to keep the hype going for the next 28 days, so that people just watch it in that time period to get a
No, fair
season
enough.
3.
Like,
But maybe in season 3 they could do like batches instead, so they could do 4 weeks.
Is this
instead of
confirmed?
No, if they get a season 3.
Okay.
I'm being wishful
Okay.
here, but like maybe for season 3, I'm gonna be confident and say there's gonna be a season 3. Damn it!
So when season 17 comes out,
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
but yeah, if we get another season, maybe Netflix will drop it 5 episodes a week. So you do, what is that, 4 weeks, right? So you get a chance, and then people can just like watch 1 episode a day if they want to, pace themselves that way if they choose to. Or maybe since Netflix pays so much attention to that first 28 days, release 1 episode a day. It's all good. You know what I mean? Like, at least you can get conversation going daily for the next, like get that hype going. Who knows? But yeah, it is tough to have it. I've never had to talk about a show and like try not to binge. I couldn't do it. I was gonna try to not binge the whole thing, but
Cake
I had
Eternal
to.
says 22 minutes weekly would have been too little, especially during the summer. People might lose interest. Maybe 5 episodes a week would have been nice.
Yeah,
I don't know, but then when you look at something like Rick and Morty's like, I mean, that comes out on, I guess, a more traditional television, kind of like situation. It's not a streaming service, but Rick and Morty comes out weekly, and everybody waits for it and is hyped to watch, 1 episode a week for 10 weeks. Though there is only 10, it's not 20, but yeah.
Oh, look here. Joanne says apparently the episode dump is the kid preferred way to watch, according to an interview Aaron Walkie did. It's a different life. You have a different schedule when you're a kid. So I get that. It makes sense.
Fair enough. Those pesky kids.
Oh, going back to the Nova Squadron, one of the Nova Squadron kids had like a really good burn. Did you remember what he said?
No.
He was like, nice stairs, Never Squadron.
Got him.
Only officers on the bridge.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. You know what I mean?
A real quick note about the music in the episode, especially in the scene when they're being dropped off to their respective
the montage.
places. Yeah, it's a little montage here.
The collage. This is a
The
collage,
collage.
not a,
There's a
not a
collage of a
montage.
montage. People don't know what we're talking about. Think we're insane, probably. But yeah. So the music was really good. But here are the 4 different spots they send everyone to.
Mm-mm.
Just look at that engine room. I should have put this full screen and zoomed in.
The guys over at Corridor Crew would like me saying that the Coptics, is it the Coptics? Is that what they called?
Go back on the slide. What are you talking about?
Is that what they call them? That thing there, like when the water, when the sun reflects through the water.
Oh, like the, I don't know what
Yeah.
that's called, but like the elementals, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, so here's that scene where where he's talking to Gwen, which was very sweet. I like that the screen froze when he was about to ask about the state of them. What do you think about their relationship? Where do you think it's headed this season, based on that little scene?
I don't know. I do feel like Gwyn is kind of like not in the same headspace as Dal with this. I think Dal has, I guess, less of an important thing to worry about. Like he's worrying about, I guess, his career and his advancement and his own personal growth in terms of like his, becoming a captain. But he has more time to focus on what could be with Gwyn, whereas Gwyn is feeling really like the weight of like the potential loss of her entire species. And so I think she's just not looking at that relationship as, it's not so much a priority for her. That's what I feel at the moment.
Yeah.
That's not to say that she doesn't want to address it or that she doesn't, care for him. I just think they're not necessarily on the same page timeline wise when it comes to like what they want to do with the relationship at the moment.
Braxton thinks that Gwen
Jesus,
can do much
better. Sometimes it's
Excuse me.
love is what love is, you know what I mean?
That's great. I mean, sometimes I think that too, but I do want them to succeed. So here Gwen kind of explains what's going on with the time travel situation. So let me see if I understand it, and maybe you understand it too. So okay, so Gwen, the past is intact because the protostar already went through or will go through the wormhole and land on Tars Lamora, and then the diviner will want to go and chase it through the wormhole.
Mm-hmm.
But now Gwen is going into Solum to create a new future, because the future is always uncertain, right? By getting Solum to be more open to first contact and alien species, to be less xenophobic, I guess it's like her plan. And if she succeeds, there will be a new future, but somehow the future that was supposed to happen not happening doesn't affect the going back in time.
No, because I think it's just a temporal incursion that she's creating, basically.
But then,
because if you look at a temporal incursion, like in the linear depiction of it, I guess like the original timeline would be this, and then the temporal incursion is kind of like a little lump. You know what I mean?
Right, or the timeline's out of order. In other words, like
well, like, technically, the future that she comes from is
right.
no longer the future in terms of the present. It is the past now. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, I see. Okay. So her future is now the past. Right. That makes sense. I don't know. It gives me a headache too. I'm like, now
the reason why they need to cross each other at the exact same moment as they send back the protostar is because, yes, indeed, if they actually go back like if they go to the future, um, uh, then yeah, they will jeopardize that her existence, and they will jeopardize that mission.
Which apparently is going to happen because they didn't leave 41 hours.
I don't know, because someone be speaking through that wormhole. You know what I mean?
What's that?
Someone be speaking through that wormhole.
I know someone be sweet. They said go now, right? Like that's what
They
the
were like,
voice said.
"Yo, get a move
Get
on."
get a
And
move
Janeway
on.
was like, "Now, I won't."
You do a Janeway impression. Nice. That's not bad actually. Jill says I love the video chat between Dal and Gwen. I also like that the triporter, the pad can, like an iPad can like sit at that angle. And we've actually seen that. Jörg Hildebrand pointed out that that was something that we saw on TNG before, where they had the pad standing up sometimes. So that was pretty cool.
I still appreciate how we have stacks of pads.
Yeah, there are stacks of pads. It's like a thing. It's true. There are stacks of pads.
It is what it is.
Braxton says, "I never remember how time travel goes in Trek."
Well, that's the thing with having a franchise that spans almost 60 years. No one knows. Everyone just makes up their own rules for time travel, and then I guess.
But it's that basically the past won't be changed by changing the future if you're doing it from the present.
Well, sometimes you also need to look at time.
I don't know.
Sometimes you need to look at time like cement too, because
Really?
like cement takes a while to set, and so
Yeah, it's
sometimes you can fiddle around with it quite a lot before it sets.
Before it sets.
Before you actually.
All of that makes me feel better, but I'm not sure I understand. It just makes me feel better, which is good, which is fine.
Yeah, it makes you
that's what
feel like you understand.
like I understand.
You know what I mean? It's okay.
Jill says Dal really has a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, I
be
feel
smart
like
and capable
Larry
enough to
Nemeczek
win.
and Kyle Sullivan could work together on making a Temporal Mechanics 101.
Where's Kyle Sullivan been? I haven't seen you just like boom. I just thought of that name. Trexpertise, right?
Expertise. I don't know where he is. Hopefully he's working on Temporal Mechanics 101.
Tell Kyle Sullivan, you're his friend. You should reach out and be like, Kyle Sullivan, the Trekkies demand a Temporal Mechanics 101 video. Like, this is something we need from you. Good shout out to Kyle Sullivan. I haven't thought of him in a long time.
Shout out to Trexpertise. Great channel.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I agree with Jill. Cake is eternal. I understand why Janeway gets headaches thinking about time travel.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
All right, we'll move on from let's Dow has actual books to study. That's true.
Yeah. What is he doing? You're
Oh,
welcome.
Look, you helped Joanne too. Look, you're a cement thing. That's
yeah.
Who knew, Toddy?
Hey.
This is the scene where Zero. I think it's interesting that Zero wants to be corporeal. What do you think of all that?
I didn't feel like Zero wants to be corporeal. That's not what I got from the scene. I feel like Zero is a very inquisitive and curious individual, and they want to experience as many things as can be experienced in life. And of course, being non-corporeal, it means there's a lot of things that they will experience that we won't.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of things that they will miss out on, and I think that's kind of like where this is coming from. It's more things to kind of learn and help, and of course, being a doctor, and working on physically like corporeal patients, I feel like there's kind of an insight that would be added to knowing how pain feels, and you know what I mean, that kind of stuff, to actually be able to help and be a doctor. So yeah. That's where I feel that was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like that vial with the blue stuff in it looks like V from The Boys.
Oh, you haven't caught up on the new season yet. Is it good?
Yeah.
All right, I'll check it out.
It ain't no House of the Dragons, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Jill says Zero doesn't want to smell Jankum's farts. but would like to touch something.
That is fair enough. I think we can all agree on that.
Braxton says Zero wants to hold hands and make out. I noticed how they longingly watch that couple. Yeah. Yeah, they do want to hold hands and make out, it looks like also. But who doesn't? That's such a nice thing to do. So I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it out there, folks.
And here we
All right,
have
so
a
then
mother embracing her child, which is, something that is probably highly recommended also.
and we find out that Bolians have 2 hearts.
Mm.
So here we have them going to find Shuttle Bay 3. And I thought this was funny because the little display has them walking towards this circular or cylindrical room over here, which is probably the astrometrics lab. So I wonder if they modified astrometrics to turn it into another hangar, or if the MSD was just
Lying.
Lying, yeah, exactly. Also on this MSD, you'll see up here at the very top is the beginning of Cetacean Ops.
Those maps be lying, yo.
those maps be lying, yeah. And actually, I don't think it's an MSD, but it is just a map, so it's true. So I just thought that was fun. Norman says
Having a
Bolians
third
are Time
secret
Lords.
shuttle
Yeah.
bay would also explain how they fit all the shuttles in Voyager.
I didn't even think about that. It's like a tradition on the Voyager.
They got like secret shuttle bays to fit Neelix's
Oh my
ugly ass
gosh.
ship.
That's legit. That you just solved the mystery. The biggest mystery of all was that Janeway had secret hangars all
That's
over
it. She's got
Voyager.
secret hangars everywhere. What's
That's
going on behind
legit.
that? Is that holodeck 15? No.
No, it's actually Hangar Bay 4 or whatever. Anyways, we get the Infinity. I like her. I think she's a cool ship. What do you think?
I think she looks very
Cool
Telluride.
looking.
I don't know if that's done on purpose, but it looks very Telluride.
She does look like a Telluride design. That's the other thing that's cool. They don't really go into it in the episode, but it would have been neat to learn that the Tellurides engineered her for some reason. Maybe they're like a little more, temporally resistant than other species or something, or they've got
Resistant.
resistant to temporal change, but not like
Wouldn't the
fully, but yeah.
Vulcans be temporally resistant? They can live like 250 years.
It's different. Oh, Jill says that they had a vehicle replicator all along. That's true too. That could have been the case, but it is unlikely
Just replicate a
because
new shuttle every time you get on a way
every
mission.
time you need, I mean, why not, right? But here's where they're like, say the word, Admiral.
Yeah, very loyal.
I like that. I like
I like
stuff in
this.
Star Trek.
I
Yeah.
like that. No, but I like the stuff in Star Trek. But I also like that Janeway. She had a very loyal crew and very close friends. On
Yeah.
Voyager because of what they went through and the journey. But she's been able to kind of like find. She's not a bitter old woman or something. You know what I mean? She's not. She's actually found. This new path, and she has these new friends, and she has like a really loyal crew that aren't necessarily all people that we know. Of course, the Doctor's there, and he's seemingly very loyal to her. Maybe we'll see someone else. I don't know.
Who would you like to see this season? If you, not to get your hopes up or anything, but like,
so who would I like to see, or who would I expect?
Yeah, okay. Who would you expect to see, I guess, is a good question.
Okay, because I wouldn't expect to see Tom Paris because I feel like he's off doing his shenanigans. And I wouldn't expect to see 7 of 9 because I feel like 7 of 9 wouldn't really have her place in this show. But I think that B'Elanna could be a really cool move for this
You'd
show.
like to see B'Elanna? That's cool.
I would like to see B'Elanna.
Anyone else?
I don't know. Captain Ensign Harry Kim would be cool.
Captain Ensign Harry Kim. Braxton says I'd like to see Tuvok. What would Tuvok be doing around now?
I don't know. He's just Tuvoking. I mean, what does he do? He just meditates,
well,
and he's just
that's
randomly on people's bridges all the time. You know, he's like in a bridge in like the year 3000, and he's on a bridge in the year 2000. And he's just on people's bridges. He was there
well,
with Sulu. You know what I mean?
it's true. Well, episode 2 begins with Gwen
Wait a minute.
looking what?
Is Tuvok dead? Tuvok's dead by the time Picard hits, right? Because we got fake Tuvok and Picard.
No, but no. You got good Tuvok. You got real Tuvok at the end.
Oh,
The
that's right.
changelings didn't kill their.
Okay.
They needed the information, so surprisingly, a lot
okay.
of them they needed all the information. So
So
kept
he
them
was an
alive.
admiral.
He was a captain.
He was a
He's
captain.
Captain Tuvok. Yeah.
Okay, well he's There you go.
Jill says, "I want to see Tuvok and wish she was looking for him instead of Chakotay."
Jesus.
So she's not a JC shipper. She's a JT shipper.
Mm. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. But anyways, we get to episode 2. I love this. Like, I like Gwen's kind of path. She's like on the diplomacy path in a way. Like, we got all the other guys last episode, and then this episode we're seeing that like she's kind of on that diplomatic core path, right? Like, go to
Yeah, she's more I'm not going to be a Starfleet officer, but I'm going to be one of those one of those ambassadors, the ambassadors that get moved around.
Ambassador.
That get moved around on the ship. Like she's one of the people that they would pick up from one planet and then move to another planet while some sort of mental, telepathic situation happens on the ship.
Right. I like this moment. You've read those first contact protocols more than Picard. What did you think of Solo?
Oh my god, I love this is so cool. Okay, so these guys look like elves, but they look like the Eldar from like Warhammer 40K.
Oh, I haven't played that, but
The
is that what
Eldari?
they are? The Eldari like elven?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a heavy Solom
they,
is gorgeous. There's like a heavy elven influence, like Lord of the Rings style, but like with space science fiction stuff. I think they do it just enough for it to be original, to be honest. Like I do see the like those two guys, the elders there. They remind me of the king in The Hobbit, the elven king with his crown and stuff like that. What was his name? Can't remember, but played by Lee Pace, my boy Lee Pace.
Yeah, what's his face?
Legolas's dad. But you know what I mean? It's kind of like that kind of vibe, the high, this whatever, that kind of gold and stuff.
I do think that and I guess I'm presuming here, but like I feel like considering this species was going to be such an integral part to like the show, I feel like they really took the time to like design them in the sets, you know what I mean, and really focus on like creating this species and the aesthetic for them. Like I feel like that's what was going on, you know what I mean. But I appreciate it. I really like the whole. I like the hair that they have, and like the like all of these different shades and tones of like the bluish purple that's going on. I appreciate the like you said, the crowns, but these crowns that aren't necessarily just crowns. Like I feel like they're also maybe heirlooms. Like
it's all heirloom stuff. Yeah. Oh, neat.
So,
and it's interesting how they cover
really
their eyes,
clever.
Similar to like our depictions of Justice being blind. Maybe the elders are blind to like who's approaching them.
It's also got almost Viking vibes to it. Like the seers are blind in Viking, I don't know. It's cool.
Jill says, I don't get the same feeling of dread from Essentia that I got from the Diviner, but she's worse. Discuss. Yeah, I actually hate her more. Like I actually feel sorry for the Diviner. Like I actually think
the Diviner was in a way.
I always thought he was like a tragic character, like more of a like that kind of evil but
Yeah.
tragic. Whereas Essentia, I think she's just like a total, you know,
Well, you could
awful.
tell kind of like by the vibe of the story that there, like, it was a path of self-destruction. You know what I mean? Like, you could see that there was going to be an end to this because, like you said, it was written almost as like a tragedy, right? Like, you could
Hmm.
feel that, like, the father was going insane. He's lost sight of what was important. He was going to not only lose his daughter, but in the same way, like, lose his people or lose his mission. She seems a lot more uh conniving, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So yeah, she seems worse in a way. She's not as scary, um but I think the voice has a lot to do with that, because what's his name was voicing the diviner, and he's just really terrifying.
Norman points out that Essentia was
Yes,
undercover and later
Seska.
killed the diviner in season 1. Her duplicity is like
Yeah,
Seska's.
I was about to say that. I was about to say she reminds me more of Seska in terms of
Mm.
like making Voyager parallels, because Seska was a lot more kind of like, I don't want to sound racist and say a lot more Cardassian, but kinda like conniving, I guess, in the way that she was doing things. And I feel like yeah, she's kind of the same way. And it also involves like a subplot with Chakotay, which is kind of what Seska was known for. Though I don't think Essentia has gotten frisky with Chakotay. I don't know. That would be maybe a little too on the nose. John Noble,
Yeah, he plays the
amazing,
diviner.
amazing actor.
Yeah, he is very good. Speaking of Lord of the Rings connection, John Noble is the Steward of Gondor.
He
What's his
is.
name? What's the name of the character? I forget.
I forget his name, but
Darn it. I used to know all these things like on the
tells
top of my head,
he,
but
he
getting
tells
old.
he tells he tells Mary or Pippin, which one is with him? Pippin, I think.
Gwen escapes, goes into
Tells
the
Pippin to sing.
city. It goes into the city, and she's like, "Oh, this is not a good situation. Let me get back to my ship." But the ship is destroyed.
Denethor.
I loved this shot.
Denethor.
Denethor, thank you. I loved this shot. I thought it was so fantastic how it's like you don't really even she's just kind of looking up at the general direction of the ship and then you see it explode and it's just like through this little skylight. We're in like this undercity, like the under version of the city, which like might be an older part of the city or whatever.
I got
But
mad Klingon vibes, like Konos vibes from the
yeah, there's a
city.
little bit of Kronos
It
City
reminded me
looking,
of like
yeah.
when Picard was gonna help out, Worf and everything, and he was
Right,
going from
right,
like
right.
one of those houses. Yeah.
But yeah, I just loved this, and it was so exciting. And then I was like, the stakes, there's stakes. Like, what's going on? There are stakes. So yeah, and they're cooked to perfection. But yeah, that was like a moment. And then she is, she's gonna go basically eventually find the divider. But back on the ship, they approach
It's a
the
very Deep Space Nine looking wormhole.
oh yeah, wait, before we go to that, there's also the interesting complication of Essensia's younger self is a part of this. So that's crazy that
So I feel like we might have a bit of a Guardians of the Galaxy situation here, where maybe the younger won't be evil or mean or won't go down the same path as the older.
that's an interesting way to look at it. One hopes, right? do
Oh
you think
Jesus!
her younger self might even influence Essentia to like soften and like maybe she'll be reminded that she wasn't always so
Maybe we do a lot
angry
of
and
kind of
stuff
gray
like that?
villains nowadays. No one's, it's not
Yeah.
like complete villainies. I don't know. I don't know where they're going with that. Um, but yeah, it is a show that seems to be um thematically, I guess, about like second chances and what have you. So maybe that could be interesting, because this is a second chance at first contact. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? This is a second chance, I guess, at
You never get a second chance at first contact unless you're on Janeway's ship.
this is a second chance for the diviner. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
second chance for Chakotay, so to speak. It's so easy, bro. You just die, they go and get you in the past and bring you back. Come on.
So this is funny. Like Rock Talk was complaining about being an accomplice now and getting in trouble, and there's our girl Majel, an accomplice to what? As you were saying, like finding out, and then the first appearance of the sphere. Who do you think's behind that? Knowing all these time shenanigans, like where do you think that? What do you think's going on with that? Is it a
I mean,
future? A
yeah,
future version of Janeway, maybe, or what's going on?
the obvious answer is Chakotay, right? Like, I feel like it's Chakotay that's speaking to them through the thing. But it could also be like, I don't know. It's strange.
It is strange, right?
It is strange. It could be like Essentia trying to screw them over, like, because if they don't go through at the right time, it'll screw them over, and she might be like, "Come through, yo."
Oh, it could be like that. But here we have Dal fall through the bridge, just like Boimler did. I thought that was a fun thing. And then Tysus throws him off the bridge. He's like, it's only for non-civilians. So I guess they're considered warrant officers are considered civilians still. So that's interesting.
I appreciate that the eyes on the Centaurian are very red.
Yeah, I noticed
And
that too.
And that kind of suits how live action makeup has its flaws, because we can paint the skin blue, but there's an underlying redness to our human bodies, you know what I mean? Because we have the red blood and the red shines through our eyes. So even if you look at like some of these fantastically, painted actors, so to speak, like they're all painted blue, there's still red shining through. And I don't know if it's just to make him seem a little more menacing, perhaps, or if it's really like an homage to like the way that the makeup was done, but it reminded me of that.
Interesting. I just thought like they have redder
Maybe.
eyes, but yeah.
Or maybe he's just high.
I don't think Janeway
can't deal with these kids.
I don't think Janeway tolerates that.
I need to go back to the mines and dig some ice.
Oh my god, we're almost done, Toddy. You're getting loopy.
Yeah, this is it. This is the end. We're losing it.
So here we go.
I gotta go anyway. What are we doing? It's like an hour and a half. Come on.
I know we're almost
ridiculous.
done. I'm well aware of the time. I'm well aware of the time. We only have a few more points. That's it. But here's John Noble or Ilthuran.
So it's still John Noble doing the voice? We haven't changed?
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
You didn't think so?
I didn't know, because it was so distinct. I know that John Noble is capable of doing it, but I couldn't tell because it was so like, it's so distinctly, like it's so different from like the way Divina spoke. The Divina spoke in season 1, but no, he's doing a great job. So yeah.
Yeah, I like that scene a lot where she meets her father. It was a very like kind of goosebumpy scene. Janeway off the record, love the scene. We get like a whole kind of briefing
exposition dump,
if you will, about what's going on. So yeah, very interesting. So now we got the whole plan with the wormhole. We got the little diagram and everything like that. Very cool stuff. Do you think the plan's gonna work?
No, are you kidding me?
What? Well, they've already put a wrench in it, right? They've already gone to the they've already unfortunately
it's already, well, I mean, come on, when is Janeway's like Janeway, she's always got these plans B and C and D because no,
it's true. But I did like that line I did like that whole part where they're like, he saved us, his sacrifice changed our lives, he changed mine too, that whole sequence. Because, and I actually got teary-eyed in it because it's true. It's like this thing Chakotay does 52 years in the future totally changes the lives of these characters, and like it's like kind of special. There's a lot riding on this season because we have to preserve that, but we also have to, they feel obligated to save him. They could just leave him in the future and nothing would be wrong, but they actually they feel this thing, and I loved it. I thought that was a great motivator behind why they're doing what they're doing.
Well, technically speaking, you can look at it one way. You can say Chakotay's dead. You know what I mean? And it is how things sort of unfolded. But you can also say, we have the opportunity to, I guess, address the timeline or change it in a way that is positive. But we have someone stuck in this altered timeline that will disappear. But it's not someone that was from that time. It is someone that went there from ours. So technically, he's time stranded. You know what I mean?
He's a time stranded. Yeah, he's stranded in time. It's true.
Gotta bring him back.
Here, Gwen explains to her father and proves that she's real with the heirloom, that they both have the same one. And she asks him like what to do basically with the situation. So he recommends they go to the Arcanum, which is pretty cool.
Special shout out to how Gwen wears the heirloom on the uniform.
Yeah, it is pretty cool,
It's
right?
really cool. And it's kind of reminiscent of like Bajorans with their earring and the Klingon sash.
That's true. I like seeing this variation of the robot. That was cool, like the kind of the lore keeper version of it. Because last season, what's the robot called again? I can't remember. The one that the diviner had. They all had like
evil red eyes.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the only one we knew. Who everyone keeps thinking. Whenever I watch it with someone for the first time, they're always like, "Is that Zachary Quinto?" It's funny because Zachary Quinto does play a robot on that other show, the animated show with what's it called? I really love that show.
I don't care about Zachary Quinto.
The superhero.
He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Wow. Okay. Fine. All right. Anyways, so he tells her that she has to evoke this ritual called the Valura. Valura. I love that there's all these new things that we're finding out.
Very Vulcan.
So yeah, anyways, we'll get to see that ritual, so that's kind of cool. I wonder if it involves what do you think?
Are there giant stone statues?
I don't know.
I don't know.
All
I
right.
have no idea what
So here Magel catches on to him. I just wanted to point out that I really loved this scene where she's like, "Halt! You will take the next one," to the guy because her turbo lift keeps filling up, right? But then Dal comes up with this stupid plan. When he realizes that the Nova Squad's going to go to find out what's in Hangar Bay 3 or Shuttle Bay 3 that doesn't exist, he says, "Oh, we'll just move the Infinity to another shuttle bay."
Yeah, what the? I mean, come on.
Dal, look at how can that not go wrong? And of course it does.
That's such a brilliant plan. You know what I mean? Like, just exit the ship and then come back in again. I
like that the Jankum's head is what sets off the like he pushes the big red button with his head when she Vulcan neck pinches him. That scene was really good. They're all like kind of tearing at each other and Rock Talk.
This is on Janeway though, because Janeway should have set an alarm that goes off when someone touches the ship. You know what I mean? Like, she should have been contacted by something as soon as like the ship is decloaked or touched or anything. So yeah.
Legit. Hey Art, it's nice to see Uncle Arthur in the audience. So Art, don't spoil anything past episode 2 because Toddy hasn't seen the whole season yet. So we won't say anything. But anyways, yeah, so they inadvertently launch the Infinity into the wormhole. And that's it. The episode is over.
Cool. I like the fact that our little group of the Prodigy group, they have other people with them.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. All right, I've already seen the next episode, so I'm not gonna say anything. But predictions for the next episode, Toddy.
I got none. I don't know. I really don't know. I couldn't even start theorizing.
That's not a bad place to be, where you're like,
honestly,
I can't even guess what's gonna happen.
I don't know. I'm just hyped. I'm just hyped to see it. You know what I mean?
Oh, very cool. Well, all right.
I hope their
So
ship is intact when they get out the other side. I hope it ain't no broke, but hey,
it doesn't get crash landed or whatever.
maybe
Exactly.
your boy's got to stop fixing it.
Audience, there's a bunch of new folks that have joined us, so thank you so much. What we like to do is we
Tell
like to
me
give a
that doesn't
rating.
look live action. Put back that shot with like the nebula and the no, not the nebula, the wormhole, and the other one before it. There's the wormhole on the Voyager. Where is it? No, the other way, the other way, the other way. There we
This
go.
one.
That's yeah.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous shot. That's like a wallpaper.
That's almost live action. You can slightly tell, but it could be stylized CG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. I love it.
Benji says, I don't think that Star Trek has ever had a live action wormhole.
What kind of world do we live in where people don't go outside and film wormholes anymore? Like, grab your camera and go film it. You know, no CG.
Legit. I love being surprised by shows, and there were lots of cool surprises and twists in Prodigy. Legit, there are going to be a lot of cool twists and surprises. I can't wait to talk to you about it. So next
Ooh.
week, episode 3. After this, we're doing one episode at a time. So this is an extra long discussion because we wanted to celebrate the return of Star Trek Prodigy by doing parts 1 and parts 2 together. So at the end of our discussions, you know, you can't really sum up a whole discussion with a rating or like what you think
The
of an
11 out
episode.
of 10 man has returned.
We like to do we like to do ratings, and yes, in fact, this episode gets an 11. These two episodes together as a return get an 11 out of 10. So yes, the 11 out of 10 man is back. Star Trek Prodigy has blown me away from the start. So yeah,
Incredible.
11 out of 10 on this one. Toddy, what is your official rating?
It is a 7.5.
And any final thoughts?
It is a 7.5 out of 10.
It's a good thing I gave it an 11 so we can bring the average.
That's solid. That's a solid score. Come on, stop.
That is a solid score.
No, it's good. In kind of like breaking with Star Trek tradition, I don't feel like one or the other part is weaker than the other. Because I feel like Star Trek has kind of a tradition of either having like really cool part 1s and then part 2 just kind of falls flat, or the other way around. You just don't know what really, they set things up in part 1, but then part 2 slaps. This one I feel like it works. Both parts really work, and I think it is because it was truly conceived as like an episode to come out. But yeah.
Nice.
No, I think it's great. I think it's a great introduction to this new season. I think it's a great way of getting people into Star Trek and into Starfleet. If you don't know what Starfleet is, for new people, it works because even if you don't know who Chakotay is, you clearly understand that there's history and friendship and like an important bond between him and Janeway. But then of course for returning fans, we know the depth of the relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah,
very good.
I love it.
Toddy, I'm so happy. I'm so excited that we're going to be talking about this. I'm excited that you're not watching it in a binge. This is kind of a cool experience to not spoil the whole season, so it'll keep us honest here on the show, which is cool. Thank you for joining me on this discussion series. Audience, thank you so much. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more. Also subscribe to Trek on the Tube. He's a little inactive right now, but occasionally he'll post up a video, or definitely watch his content that's already up because there's a lot of great stuff on there. And I know he's got stuff in the works, so announcements to come. And then after this, of course, go check out Text Trek tonight. So yeah. Tomorrow we will be doing a Deep Space Nine discussion. It's the episode called Dax, season 1 episode. I think it's 8 now. We're on episode 8 or episode 9. So yeah.
Dax. What's Dax? Is that a character? Is that a place?
It's all of the above. All right. Live long and prosper, everyone. And we will see you next time. Thank you. Woo.